Great. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Good morning and afternoon and evening to all of our audience. And welcome to the 11th episode of Web3 Social Club. So this is a Twitter space series by Mask Network, where we invite thought leaders, projects, and builders of the next generation social networks, as well as the general Web3 infrastructure space to share their insights. I'm your host today. I'm Hannah. I lead global growth at Mask Network. For those that are tuning in for the first time, a little bit about Mask Network. We are a social infrastructure project that bridge Web 2 and Web 3 to build an open internet. We do so through a browser extension mobile application that integrates Web3 dApps seamlessly onto traditional social media like Twitter. And also we're building an open source DID, decentralized identity protocol for all self-governed digital identities called NextID. And with all this, we hope to give data ownership back to the users. So today is actually a pretty special episode for Web3 Social Club, because in the past, we've talked a lot about different product innovation and different infrastructure layer innovation through the project builders and thought leaders. But I think the bigger question we need to think about is how do we instill faith and confidence in the general users in Web3, and how do we onboard more users to Web3? And without a safer and more regulated in a like kind of a self-governed better governance in the space, it's very hard to to really welcome more people to learn about the space, as we're seeing, unfortunately, the whole FTX debacle has occupied all the mainstream media, and that's maybe like for a lot of people their first time learning about what crypto is. So, and then for those that do hold the belief in the space, a lot of them are harmed by the series of events and debacles of FTX. So today we're really excited to talk about how to fix these problems, how to protect the existing users and believers in the Web3 space, and how we can create a better environment to onboard more users, and what are the measures that have already been taken. So with that, I'm super excited to introduce our speakers today. We have the core members of FixDAO with us, including Vincent, the global lead of FixDAO, and Germaine, the marketing director of FixDAO, Haotian, the legal director of FixDAO, as well as the research and operations lead from EthSign, LJ, with us. I think joining us soon, we'll also have on-chain researcher from Xerax Scope with us. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Great. So maybe you guys can also briefly introduce yourself and, okay. Sorry. Now, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
great. It feels so much better to be able to talk to someone. It was just like, it was so quiet. Great. Yeah, like Vincent, go ahead. Feel free to introduce yourself and share more about what FixDAO is.
Sure. I will start first, and Haotian will be able to introduce more about the initiative of the FixDAO. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Vincent. I'm the global lead of the FixDAO, and I'm currently also a lawyer as a lawyer based in the United States. And yeah, I'm super excited to actually be invited by Suji by the end of December, actually November, of being this project. And okay, Haotian, can you give us a more deep dive into what we are doing right now?
Yeah, sure. This is Haotian, and I'm the legal director of FixDAO. I'm also the legal director at Mask Network. So we are a nonprofit DAO that are founded in last year, late November, bounded by the idea of helping victims of the FTX fiasco to recover their fund in the legal proceeding that's happening right now in Delaware court. So we're still understanding that a lot of our colleagues and friends in the crypto space might be unfamiliar with the legal proceedings, and even some are afraid of the legal jargons, which is absolutely normal. And so we are hoping that by forming a DAO, we can be an interim between the crypto space and the legal space and help our victims to recover their funds through the proper channel. Thanks.
Germaine.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Germaine. I'm the Marketing and PR Director of FixDAO. Just a quick introduction of what I do at FixDAO. I'm in charge of media outreach, and also the Twitter account and website management. And at the same time, I also double head as the head of strategy and institutional relations with Mass Network. Yeah, great. It's great to talk to everyone and share what FixDAO is doing tonight. Yeah.
Great. And we also have LJ from EthSign on the research and operations side. Welcome, LJ.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for inviting us. Glad to be here. At EthSign, as Hannah just mentioned, EthSign's mission is to bring trust to the trustless network by converting legal contract to smart agreement, smart contract. And then we're really excited to partner with FixDAO to provide any kind of support, both technical or operational support for the mission of FixDAO, and excited to talk about how we can collaborate in this process. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, LJ. And yeah, welcome again to all of our speakers. I'd like to first just kick off the discussion with maybe you can share some of the progress since FixDAO's formation in like late last year and what you've been able to accomplish and what are some of the main goals for 2023.
Sure. I will start with our major milestones that we have achieved so far. Well, as mentioned by Suji, with his tweet, by the end of last year, we have already attracted more than 200 million worth of US dollars of credits, like coming from both Web3 projects and individuals. And also, we have formally engaged law firm in Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the United States, with the US counsel as the lead counsel of the entire process. Let me introduce a little bit about who they are. So the US counsel will be Wilmus Meyer, and for anyone who is kind of familiar with the US bankruptcy legal practitioners, they are very famous. They are very experienced in bankruptcy and class actions, and in terms of litigations, and they have representing victims in the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy cases, and also a bunch of other class actions. So they're actually very well-known law firms in this field. And for Hong Kong and Singapore, we engaged Bird & Bird. The Two Birds team is a international law firm that it was initiated in the UK, and it's also super well known. It's a very large law firm, and they also have extensive exposure to the Web3 ecosystem. And we have Enlighten Law Group based in Taiwan. They have years of experience with high expertise in Web3 related matters. So we leveraging these three law firms and also other law firms we're actively discussing with, like in Korea, in Japan, and also in the PRC. We are very confident that we are absolutely top notch in terms of legal powerhouse. And also we're already forming partnerships, as you can see, with EthSign, and EthSign will be responsible for our it's a legal document sign up. So for anyone who like to actually filing a claim, and during the entire legal process, we will have EthSign to be our major partner regarding any legal documents. And also we have the 0x Scope with our helping about the preliminary evidence collections regarding the FTX claims. And also we will soon announcing partnerships with other projects, including Safe Treasury. They will help us with the potential token offerings and other treasury setup. And for we also launched our website and the Discord server actually early this early December last year, and we also expect to have multiple grants and donation from different projects and foundations coming up soon. Hao Tian, can you also supplement anything? And also,
Sure. Yes. So due to limited capacity, we're only serving victims from these regions, including the PRC, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, and we're engaging in law firm in Korea and exploring options in Japan. However, if you feel like helping us out, please fill in the volunteer application form. You can find the form through our official Twitter, FixDAO, and you can also find the form on FixDAO.org. We'll much appreciate, and we would love to expand our coverage to more regions. So thanks for helping us out. And I want to do a shout out to our supporters, Mass Network and East Planet. They've been providing some funds for us to kick off. It's been very helpful for us to start the new endeavor. So just to provide some more clarification regarding roadmaps. So we're planning to filing the credit claim by early this year, and by that, then we'll be able to have some active engagement with the Delaware court, and we'll be exploring our options after them. And I think by legal proceeding wise, this year will be a very critical year for us, and also for the Delaware Bankruptcy Court as well. So we'll be closely monitoring the process.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent and Hao Tian, for sharing the roadmap and your milestones in the past. And glad to hear there are a lot of ongoing partnerships, and we're receiving support from both projects and also volunteers to build together the DAO. I know Vincent mentioned that EthSign is partnered with FixDAO in terms of assisting with the signature and DAO operation. LJ, could you speak a bit more about how would that work, and how do we how does that facilitate the process?
Yeah, certainly. So EthSign platform originally started back in the middle of 2020, and now we have gone through 4 versions of iteration. So everybody now can go on the EthSign website and signature page, and then just very easy to sign, to send, upload a PDF contract agreement, and then send to the signer's wallet address, and then the receiver can sign it from their end. It's very Web3 native, and then everybody who are who are participating in the DAO with all kinds of wallet address can very easily to process any legal agreement on our platform. And then currently we are also sponsoring the gas fee, so all the process is free, and we will provide all kinds of legal support, technical support for those of us who need it in the DAO operation. Other than that, we also offer, so currently we're also building another technology called Token Table that facilitate the token vesting and stuff like that. So down the roadmap, in the near future, if there's any need for the support on token vesting and also fund distribution within FixDAO, we can also help support that. We have a very well-built, well-designed smart contract to help out with the distribution of fund and tokens.
Great. Yeah, thank you for the further explanation on EthSign's involvement with FixDAO and some of the new product updates, LJ. Yeah, we'll definitely circle back more to learn more about in terms of how you guys think about on-chain dispute resolution and the actions around that. But before that, I think for a lot of people who are hearing about FixDAO maybe for the first time or have seen these actions may have a question in terms of why, how would like a DAO system benefit the community, and in terms of comparing this with taking our losses to a traditional law firm or other organizations like other DAOs, like what are some of the differences with different, various like advocacy groups emerging to tackle the FTX debacle. Could you guys maybe comment on this in terms of differences?
Sure. I will start. I'll get started. So first, the first of all, that to forming a DAO, especially in FixDAO, we are all Web3 native, as you can see. As everybody can see that Hannah, Halton, and Germaine are core members of the Mass Network, and LJ, the core member of EthSign. Also, we have a speaker from the 0x Scope, and also, we have a bunch of staffs and volunteers who are not present in this call, but they are all very experienced in the Web3 ecosystem. So basically, we speak the same language. As you can see, that maybe you have reached out to a bunch of law firms or groups that they have organized that they claim to they can help you guys to fight in this FTX crisis, but apparently they may lack of adequate knowledge about Web3, how the token system works, and how the what's the difference between, like, for example, FTT. If you hold any FTT, is there does that mean that you are you are the creditor of FTX? They probably don't have such adequate experience in the Web3 eco. And also the second advantage for the FixDAO is that all of us are legal native. So especially for like me and also Halton and a bunch of other members, they are all lawyers. They are all especially United States lawyers. So we know like what kind of legal questions you may have, and we can answer them. And also, we are kind of gatekeepers, and we can help you to liaise between with law firms. So yeah, and also for the third part, we are nonprofit. So basically, we are not going to be compensated by any of the funds or settlement collected, but by the end of the FTX crisis. So basically, we are free. And the fourth one, because I have witnessed a lot of especially CeFi or DeFi initiative, which are credit securities exchanges. The main difference between these kind of projects and us is that we are opportunistic free. So we have strong ethics regarding speculative practices, such as these kind of exchanges. You have to especially be aware of any kind of subprime loan scheme back in 2008, because like the token bonds and debentures are much riskier than mortgages. You should be aware of when you want to trade your credits or claims in these kind of exchanges, because you may find yourself in a worse place if you want to trade your creditor standings in such exchanges. But anyway, we can dive into that later, or if you have any further question regarding it, you can also send us emails about your questions, and we're happy to answer. Halton, if you have any more to add.
Nope.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'll just add on a little bit to what Vincent has shared. I think after we have started our website and also our official Twitter account, one of the most commonly asked questions that we received from FTX creditors is that they are very concerned about the minimum claim that will make them eligible to join our FixDAO. But I mean, we would like to clarify that there's no minimum claim right now. I think through our open applications, the list amount of claim that we have right now we're handling that we have accepted as a member is about $700 to $800. Yeah, so I think that's one of the key differences. Like if you were to engage a legal firm directly, there's a higher barrier of entry as compared to us. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, in terms of legal firms that well, actually law firms. I've also witnessed a lot of law firms that claim to be, they can help you with the entire, the bankruptcy process. But also be aware of that, only U.S. consuls can officially file a claim to the court because, for example, consuls in Taiwan and consul in Hong Kong, they still have to engage another U.S. consul to help the entire process. So basically, be aware of what they're telling you, and also, the reason why we engage, the other three law firms we engage, like Wilmoth and also Bird and Bird in Leiden, because we have experience with them, and we are pretty sure that they know, the sufficient, they process, like, possess sufficient knowledge regarding the Web3 ecosystem. So maybe other law firms can guarantee you, okay, you can get back, for example, 30 to 50% of what you lost. But what I want to tell you is that it's a lie. It's a lie. So so just be very careful, because we have seen a lot of even lawyers, they're lying around, and yeah, so be extra careful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent, for being very straightforward and candid about the different motivations and groups that claim to be able to help the victims out there. And hopefully this would also give some clarity to our audience here who are looking to seek help. And also thank you, Germaine, for pointing out that in terms of FixDAO and one unique perspective, it's really helping like any victims of like all sizes. Like even if you lost like a couple $100, you can also try to claim your rights through FixDAO. I've seen some questions in the comments actually, and I know we've talked a lot about the legal proceedings and some of the ongoing actions, but maybe for our like more of a lay audience here, could you guys give a more like a kind of a clarified and then simple like 1, 2, 3 steps in terms of how for our audience today, if they want to claim like make claims, like what will be the steps they should take in terms of joining FixDAO, and what will be what's the timeline and what's the expectation?
Yeah, Hao-Tem, maybe you can add something regarding this one.
Yeah, sure. Yes, so do check out our Twitter account and our official website, which is again fixdao.org. So we have been continuing to update our timeline. We have
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you got caught up for like 5 seconds. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right. So the membership application form is available on our Twitter, and just fill in the form, provide the requested information, and we have one legal document that is critical for you to join the FixDAO, which is the membership consent form. Sorry, the member consent form, which effectively transfer your credits to your right of recourse to FixDAO. So therefore, we can file the claim on your behalf. So I know the legal document might be looking daunting. However, be aware that we are entering a formal legal proceedings, and there are some documents that are necessary for us to obtain before we file on your behalf, before we assist you in terms of any related claims. So do check out the forums, and if you have any questions, DM our Twitter, or just shoot us an email. Our email is admin@fixdao.org. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Haotian. And I think to recap for those that are interested, definitely check out the website and start the onboarding process and go through all the legal, like their legal documentation, membership consent form that you should check out. Yeah. And in terms of, like for other, maybe legal professionals or industry professionals that are interested in helping out with FixDAO, I'm curious in terms of how the contribution works as a member of the DAO. Will there be compensation? And also in terms of governance, how are you guys thinking about the voting and like the kind of the general governance mechanism of the DAO?
Yes. So we're anticipating to divide two groups of personnel that are directly involved in FixDAO. So one class will be volunteers like us. So to join as a volunteer, just check out the form and fill out the requested information. We'll invite for interview or maybe not, and get you on board. And the other class is FixDAO members. So for members who are also creditors, so we would love to have our members for helping us to develop FixDAO. Incentivize FixDAO member to contribute to the cost. And Vincent, could you give us an introduction for the contribution point system?
Sure. So basically, the reason why we set up a DAO for the FTX claim proceedings is that DAO members, just like any other DAO members are incentivized to contribute to the entire process. So basically, well, you can see from our charter, we have a specific subsection regarding how you can contribute, and we also place a placeholder and to accepting any proposals regarding how the contribution points should be allocated and how what kind of behaviors we regard as for example 5 points of contribution points and others maybe 2. But anyway, the reason why we have this contribution system is that so basically, well, for example, if you have credits worth about like $1 million US, but you actively participate in the DAO activities, and at the end of the day, the governance committee and the entire members of the DAO recognize that your contribution is actually helping the DAO as a whole, and also the entire process moving faster, or get a positive contribution, for example, get the entire, as I said, get the entire process faster, and maybe DAO members get a much higher share in terms of the overall settlement. You may get rewarded. You may actually get rewarded from the other members who have less contribution point than you. So basically, we're incentivizing people to contribute. And also, actually, for the contribution points, we also have a lot of questions regarding professional service charge. For example, well, not for example. To be honest, that we are free to help everybody for in the FTX crisis, but lawyers are not free. So maybe we are currently having lawyers, and we may engage other parties, for example, investment bankers for restructuring, and also who are interested in buying the credits, and also auditors to make the entire process crystal clear. And these professionals are not free. So as you can see from the charters, for example, so basically, like people who have contribution points is larger than 1 standard deviation of the entire population, the professional charge for you guys may be waived entirely. So this is also the part that we're incentivizing people in the DAOs contributing to the entire process.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent, for walking us through the contributor the point system, and yeah, like how the incentive mechanism works. I know we've talked a lot about the processes for both the DAO and also like how the overall like legal process will look to file claims and take legal actions against FTX. So like, and I, this entire debacle has been kind of marinating and like kind of like unfolding in the past few months. So I'm curious in terms of current members of the DAO, could you share some of the stories and in terms of who have come to FixDAO, whether their profiles, their stories, and how they're handling the situation?
Oh, yeah. So we have members that who have millions or even a couple of millions credits in the FTX. But we also have members who just have a few hundreds, like 500, 700 of debt that are in the FTX. So this last week, a non-member, it was who was a prospect member, approached me randomly in a group and asked me whether he can join FixDAO. I said, yeah, but he told me that he only have a couple hundred, and he think that he lost all evidence to prove that to prove the ownership of these credits. So after some conversation, some deep dive, I figured that from a non-legal professional perspective, uh, he probably have lost all the evidence. However, uh, uh, you probably have more evidence than you thought, right? Putting on my lawyer's hat, then I found that he had email exchanges between himself and the FTS, which contain the evidence to prove that he made deposit into FTX and he submitted a withdrawal request before the FTX collapsed, before the service shut down. So these evidence could correspond and prove that he have had these couple hundreds of credits in the FTX account, and now who becomes a debt. And with those screenshots and maybe some with some PDF printouts, then we can prove that these couple hundreds are legit and it is sufficient to file a claim. So he filed the claim, filled out the form, and with just a couple hundred, you are now in formal legal proceedings. And I think for all creditors out there, there's a shot, and just don't give up. Even though there are just few couple hundreds, but hey, those are real hard-earned money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Halton. I also have a story regarding like questions from one of our creditors that, especially in PRC, crypto trading in PRC is very controversial. So a lot of people, especially a lot of people residing in PRC, are using friends or families, IDs who are reside outside the PRC, and they ask us like, what if I cannot contact them, or we just lost contact with those kind of people. But anyway, after discussing with our US consul, and also we have did a lot of research regarding this kind of thing, basically the short answer is you can still file a claim, and although the entire process may be a little bit complicated, but you can certainly get your money back because you're a creditor.
Yeah, great. Great to hear that. Thank you, Hao Tian and Vincent and Germaine. Yeah, do you have anything to
maybe
add?
I'll just add on to what Vincent and Hao Tian has shared. I think a lot of like larger creditors who come to us, they have a lot of concerns over privacy. They do not wish to declare or disclose how much they've lost. Or because sometimes it's a personal investment that they have made, and they do not want the personal investment losses to be linked to what they're doing in the businesses, or for their if they are founded to be linked to the company. Yeah, so we understand that. So I mean, what we would like to share, that we are very privacy focused now. So if you're not comfortable with like joining our Discord servers, for example, or like and if you only wish that we contact you via email, I think this is something that we can do on our end. Yeah, so we definitely protect your privacy. You do not need to feel intimidated. That there will be exposure of how much that you've lost. Yeah, if you join a FixDAO. Yeah.
Yes, to add on what Germaine just shared, that well, actually a lot of people ask us about our KYC process. Like for FixDAO, we don't KYC. We don't do any KYC in FixDAO. But I have to mention that if you want to file a claim to the court of Delaware, you have to share your personal information to the lawyers, especially in this scenario, you have to share your information to the U.S. consul. But in any case that our fixed DAO, especially the governance committee and other DAO members will not collect, will not store any KYC information of yours. So basically, we don't except U.S. consuls, even the governance committee or the initiators. Basically we don't know who you are. So yeah, this is the highlight of our KYC process.
Great. Yeah, that was very helpful to know in terms of the privacy preserving part and how again, going back to the differences we talk about, the kind of the KYC process is not required for FixDAO versus some of the other maybe law firms and DAOs that are out there. So we'll also summarize a lot of these great kind of explanations in our recap, so that for audience that are joining late, you guys can have a good idea of how the FixDAO is structured for members and information required to get started, as well as what's the current status quo in terms of filing claims, etc. And I think we touched upon this a little bit as well in terms of getting the lost money back from the victim point of view and overall timeline for resolving the case. Could you guys share a little bit more in terms of what's the typical time frame to resolve a case, and also what's the expected kind of outcome for this collective claims that we're filing?
Yeah, I will start with it. The typical time frame actually for the bankruptcy case could be very long, and from the present, the MT Gox bankruptcy proceeding, that they resolve almost within 6 years, almost 8 years, I would say. So it could be long, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the FTX is gonna take that long, because MT Gox is a very early case that even the court, the lawyers, and also the Japanese government doesn't really know what's a crypto and what a crypto exchange is. We speculate that the FTX cases will be much shorter, but also there are a lot of complications for the FTX cases, because as you can see, Caroline and SBF, especially, they're charged with actually criminal embezzlement. We have to wait for those cases to be settled before everything before we came up everything in the bankruptcy cases. Hao Tian, if you have anything add on to this.
Yeah. So currently in the crypto space, the only case we can refer to is the Mt. Gox case, and as Vincent introduced, it takes 8 years. So we assume that, and we do expect that the U.S. court will act more efficiently, and however, the time frame will probably be considerably long, much longer than your average criminal or civil trials. So we have to wait patiently. However, so for us, so why FixDAO? We form a DAO because we want to get in the creditors committee and monitor the process or navigate the bankruptcy proceeding. Therefore, maybe accelerating the process or to guarantee the procedural justice when the final award are distributed. So
Yeah,
I think we.
Sorry, Hotan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before
sorry.
diving in that, can you give our audience a little bit, background information about what is a credits committee and how they're, what the obligation they have and what the rights they have.
Okay. Yeah, sure. All right. So well, first of all, the following content doesn't constitute any legal advice. just a disclaimer between here. So the creditors committee, it is one of the several committees in a bankruptcy proceedings. So take the FTX case for example. They are filing for Chapter 11, so which means it's a company reorganization. So the company will propose a reorganization plan. So some of the debt will be gradually paid off, and some of the debt will be waived. However, who decides whether those plans are acceptable? So these burden falls into the creditors committee. So the creditors committee, including secured creditors and unsecured creditors. So for most of the FTS victims, we fall in the unsecured creditors, those categories. So the unsecured creditors can form a committee that can vote on whether adopt or reject the reorganization plan, and they can launch their own investigation to retrieve money from different wrongdoers in the proceeding. For example, I think the FTX officers, they might have a liability to the FTX collapse, and maybe those entertainers who endorse the FTS might be liable for that. So these legal proceedings will be initiated by the creditors committee, and once we approve the plan and once we gather more money, more cash, then the creditors committee's job is finally over, and we can distribute the proceeds to the each creditors. So as you can see, the creditors committee is quintessential to the bankruptcy proceedings. So we need to make sure that the committee is acting in a fair and just way, and also acting efficiently, because you can probably those are public information. You can check the list of the creditors of the members of the creditors committee. Those are either very large institutions or very large investors who have, I think, hundreds of millions of debt in FTS. So they have a deeper pocket to prolong the proceeding or adjust those proceeds into their favor. I'm not suggesting that they will do, but they could do. So that is the most important reason. So why FixDAO need to join the creditors committee and need to have a say in the proceedings.
Yeah, right. Large creditors may have different interests in terms of the entire bankruptcy, especially in the Chapter 11 reorganization processes, because for example, they're more willing to wait longer. They willing to wait longer for a better settlement. But especially for smaller or medium creditors, they may have different interests. So basically, they could have conflict of interest in terms of different strategy and approaches. That's the reason why we are organizing a DAO, like collecting all sorts of creditors. Whatever your small creditors or large creditors, a DAO, a decentralized organization will represent your interest in the best way that can represent you in the credits committee.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent and Haotian, for the explanation of the credits committee. That was, I think, a good kind of a legal 101 for me, at least. Yeah. And I think to follow up on some of the legal procedures, could you share a bit more? Let's say I lost about $1 million of credits through FTX. Like, is there expectation, like how much, what a portion of my lost money could get back through joining FixDAO, or is that not something that we have a definitive answer as of yet. And if members do choose to leave the DAO, like how would the proceeding work?
Sure. Well, actually, the short answer is that it depends, really depends, because I have to say that anyone who talks to any one of you, that you are definitely gonna get back like certain percentage of credits. That's a lie. That's a lie, because no one actually know at the end like how much credits you will get eventually. But from the public information, actually from public information, investment banks such as Jefferies are proposing to buy back a certain amount of credits, for example, like 20 cents for a dollar or 30 cents for a dollar. So I would say maybe around 20-30%, like in at least at this stage, but we cannot assure any of you to like you will definitely get something, some kind of percentage. But anyway, this actually leads to another question that actually a lot of small creditors also talk to us about, like, hey, what about an option to just let the investment banks or traders to buy back our credits? That's actually a very good question, because a lot of banks, a lot of bankers, and also a lot of traders came to us about like they're willing to offer a price for all the credits we have right now. But like for especially for people who are not joining any organizations or any kind of like ad hoc groups, it's very difficult for them to direct contact those bankers or traders. So one of the reasons we set up a DAO is just like to give the opportunities for our DAO members to to accept or to deny any proposals regarding buybacks of credits, because these bankers and traders are only willing to negotiate with large creditors and or the groups who have a large amount of creditors, because that makes sense, because the cost of negotiation is much lower, compared to talk to each of you guys one-on-one.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent, for sharing that. I think, yeah, we've been running this space for about 50 minutes. So I'll wrap up on my end in terms of questions, and then we can also open the floor up for questions among our audience. You can also feel free to ask questions in both English or Mandarin. I think we'll be able to address them bilingually. Lastly, I want to understand a bit more in terms of this question is also for LJ, from a researcher point of view, and for FixDAO. Like, what are some of the like interesting findings you've seen, and like latest updates on FTX, and also like both in terms of the jurisdiction, and then also the legal side, and also in terms of on-chain actions that we're seeing any kind of interesting findings from your end, and also as let's say maybe not 8 years, like given like when the case finally settles, could you comment also a little bit on the kind of future of DAO?
Yeah, as I witnessed so far, I found really interesting, which I also covered a little bit in the previous discussions, that I've seen a lot of for creditors security exchanges. So basically, they're asking you to trade your credits on their platform, either CeFi or DeFi. But as I like as my previous warning, that this is very risky. This is super risky, actually. So imagine that back in 2008, the subprime crisis, the subprime loan crisis, they're on the basis of a mortgage. And as anybody, like anyone should have noticed, that the crypto assets is much riskier than mortgage. So the bubble could be very, very, very large, and so basically you have to think twice if anyone offer you a such opportunity. And also in terms of the internal jurisdiction wise, we have seen, Bahamian court is conducting their little trick with a Bahamian PwC regarding claim collections. We actually have no idea about what they are doing because FTX already fired Chapter 15 with the New York court, the Court of New York. So they basically transfer or the bankruptcy proceeding to the states. But we will monitor in the entire process, and if there is anything change to the bankruptcy proceedings. LJ, I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. From our perspective, Vincent just mentioned, and also Haotian mentioned that the class action and the lawsuit can take a very long time. One thing that we have been thinking about from within EthSign group as well as with our legal and topical researcher, it's thinking about a more radical way of prevent stuff from happening, which is doing to leverage on-chain technology, blockchain technology, by using on-chain dispute resolution, some kind of mechanism like that. Basically, so there's some like. They're currently in the market. There's some kind of like on-chain dispute resolution, but they're very small, mostly dealing with DeFi and the insurance prediction market. Those kind of like easier cases. Projects that have been doing that called Claros can utilize a smart contract as an arbitrator to give a decision within 7 days. And that's really quick compared to even compared to international arbitration court, something like that. So going forward, as Hannah mentioned, the future of DAOs and the future of on-chain organization, from our perspective, just to envisioning the future, some kind of preventative measures can be implemented. And some kind of on-chain technology, on-chain dispute resolution mechanism can be implemented. From our perspective, we propose something. We propose during the recent article a DAO-based and principle-based stuff mechanism. Just thinking about like people going to the Singapore or Dubai or London International Arbitration Court, like people can find DAO to be the trusted provider for providing in arbitration. And that can really increase the efficiency, and also with the enforcement method powered by smart contract, funds will be secure in that way. But that's I will link the article in the comment in this Twitter space. It's still a very early idea, but welcome for any comments. And we definitely wanted to improve this landscape and help standardize a practice and a method going forward to prevent something like FTX happen again.
Great. Yeah, thank you, LJ and Vincent, for some of the concluding remarks. And yeah, definitely, hopefully, we can see more people using initiatives like FixDAO, tools like EthSign to be able to kind of reclaim a lot of their lost assets and credits. And also overall, we're also pushing forward for more awareness and just education in the space in terms of for both regulators, what are the things they need to look for when they're granting new licenses to exchanges, and also for general users, how can users better protect their assets at the first place? Like why decentralization is truly at the very core of all these things related to crypto and Web3 movements, and how maybe sometimes oversimplified user experience may not be the best solution to educate people on that. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing a lot of these progress from FixDAO side Hao Tian, do you have like some parting thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Just I would like to take a chance to do a quick shout out to our supporter, Zero Time Scope. Their researchers unfortunately could not join us today due to conflict of schedule, so I will do a quick introduction on their behalf. So zero-time scope is the first Web3 knowledge graph protocol. It solves problems that Web3 data analyze addresses instead of real users by establishing a new identity standard, the new scope entity from the data layer. Zero-time scope have done a lot of on-chain data analysis in the FTX events through FTX hot wallet addresses set. Zero-time scope have calculated FTX on-chain asset analysis and calculate the inflow and outflow. And Germaine found evidence that Sam misappropriated FTS asset through an internet connection. Do check out their Twitter account. They've been posting a lot of information regarding FTS and SBS personal asset. I've made several very interesting discoveries through their Twitter account. So thank you for your support. Also shout out to all our supporters. And if your project or any foundation feels like supporting a nonprofit initiative like us, send us DM. We're more than welcome, and we thank you.
Thank you so much, Hao Tian. And I feel like I want to add some of the background music for your very professional like introduction of Xerox Scope. It's like, thank you to our supporters, XYZ. That was very professionally done. Yeah, and then a very quick recap. FixDAO is a nonprofit organization, a Web3 native and legal native DAO to help like victims of who lost their credits during the FTX debacle to reclaim their rights. And they welcome, creditors, like people who have credits that range between hundreds of dollars to a larger amount to join the DAO, and the specific details in terms of how you can file claims, join FixDAO will be available on their website. Do check out, I think, fixdao.org, and also follow them on Twitter to get more updates. And also no KYC related. This is they're very focused on preserving the privacy of how much assets you've lost and the members of the DAO. Great. Any questions from our audience today? Any comments? If so, please feel free to request a mic.
Oh yeah, I saw one question from the comment section regarding how to apply for membership. Yes, do check out our Twitter account. Fill out the membership application form. The instruction I think is pretty specific. However, if you still have any questions, send us a DM or an email. We're more than happy to answer. Although due to the inflow of messages, we might not be able to get back to you in time, but we're doing whatever we can, and we hope that any assistance will be helpful for you.
Great, thank you, Hao Tian. I've also shared the tweet related to the membership application in our Twitter space, like the follow-up thread, so it's easier for everyone to find. Great. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think there's another question on that was typed out in Chinese, asking if there's going to be a key point summary. Yes, we're going to do that. After this session, we'll first do it in English, and after that we'll translate it into Chinese. Yeah, and this will be like posted on both our Twitter accounts and also our official website. Yeah.
Yep. Stay tuned for our Twitter space recap. Yeah, and also follow Web3 Social Club for more discussions around, builders and how to build overall like Web3 space, focus on like social, getting user onboarding, and also the general kind of the different DAOs that we're seeing in the space. They're doing good. Great. All right. If we have no more questions, I'll wrap up the space today. And thank you again to Vincent, Germaine, Hao Tian, and LJ for coming on to our social club and then chat about FixDAO and its impact. Great. Excited for everything that's like in the pipeline for the DAO, and hopefully more people can really reclaim some of their losses through you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
All right. Have a good one,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.